Marcus Rashford could be an Arsenal player very, very, very soon. The latest news, views, and clues is what we're going to jump into right now. And there's a lot of reports coming out that say Arsenal are interested in signing Marcus Rashford. Now, this, as you can imagine, has completely dominated the socials in terms of the transfer news. Rashford has a very up and down kind of background in terms of his opinions on people. He divides of a lot of opinions. And I think what Havertz has done at Arsenal has kind of changed people's opinions about performances at clubs, in terms of just because it hasn't worked out at one club doesn't necessarily mean it won't work out another. If you're enjoying this type of content, go down, smash that like button right now. Go down, press the thumbs up. It's free to do. Helps the channel out. And make sure you have subscribed. Now, Kai Havertz, when he joined Arsenal, it was almost like Arsenal have signed the flop. Kai Havertz won't perform. Kai Havertz is not that great of a player. Arsenal have made a huge, huge, huge error. Now, Kai Havertz got 13 Premier League goals and 7 assists last season in 37 Premier League games. He also got 1 goal in the Champions League as well. Now, has this changed people's perception of Mikel Arteta? 100%. Because in the last 2 years, every single player that he's tried to sign, other than, I guess you could say, Fabio Vieira, he has kind of improved, in my opinion. Now, Marcus Rashford's an interesting one because it's quite a big name. 402 appearances for Manchester United. Been at Manchester United since he was a kid. 131 goals and 65 assists. Nearly 200 goal contributions in 416 games for Man United. Played at the Champions League level, played at the Europa League, played in a Super Cup for Man United, won a Europa League, won 2 League Cups, and of course, at the weekend, won his 2nd FA Cup, as well as winning a Charity Shield as well. He is a Man United Academy player. He's a Man United Academy graduate who's done fairly well. Now, in terms of his Premier League stats, I think at times he is a little bit of a purple. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean he's a bad player. This season, he got 7 goals. The season before, he got 17 goals. So, last season, fantastic. 2021-2022 season, 4 goals. 2020-21 season, 11 goals. 19-20 season, 17 goals. 18-19 season, 10 goals. You can kind of see a little bit of an up and down time at Man United, but Man United the last decade have been an absolute mess in terms of their management. Van Gaal, Mourinho, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, now Ten Hag. Arsenal seem to be a lot more of a settled kind of environment right now for him. And I honestly do believe that Marcus Rashford in the right environment will succeed. However, there comes a couple of, I guess you could say, speed bumps in the road, or potential speed bumps. Marcus Rashford right now, probably not necessarily valued on the transfer market, but he's valued to Man United in terms of, are they going to sell a star player who's 26 years of age, right? Contract expires June 30th, 2028. His last contract extension was July last year, right? He's valued at 60 million euros according to Transfer Market. I think that is a myth. I do think Man United probably will value him around the 80 million pound mark. Now, the reason why I think Arsenal will break the bank this season, in terms of they could do a record transfer amount spent in a window, the Cronkies 100% are going to back Arteta again, and I think it's justified. Now, Bruno Guimaraes is being linked, Zubimendi's being linked, Alexander Isak, Tony, and now Rashford. Arsenal, I would imagine, are probably going to do anything between 170 and 250 million pounds. The striker is probably going to cost 80 to 100 million. The DM is probably going to cost between 50 to 100 million. Rashford on top on that left-hand side also can play the number 9. If you look at him throughout his career, he's played on the left, on the right, and at striker. He can play anywhere along the front three, which ticks a lot of the boxes that Mikel Arteta wants. Now, are they going to drop 60, 70, 80 million pound on a Rashford? I don't know. But what I will say is, in the right environment, he could quite easily perform. Quite easily perform. Man United are in a rebuild themselves. They've got new ownership coming in. They've got new manager coming in. They've got a lot of new things to come, a new style of play, a new identity. Does selling one of your star players, help with that? I mean, this is what a Now Arsenal account put out yesterday, just to kind of bring up, just to bring it up on the screen. And it says, Mikel Arteta and Marcus Rashford have had conversations over a potential summer move over the past few weeks. There is interest in both sides, but it's currently unknown whether Man United will be willing to sell to Arsenal, as per the account says. Mikel Arteta really likes Rashford. Would you like to see Rashford to move to North London this summer? That's what it says. I think he could quite easily perform. If Reece Nelson was to leave Arsenal, if Gabriel Jesus was to leave and Arsenal, I'm not sure why that's frozen, but it's a Mac thing. If they were to leave Arsenal and maybe a Fabio Vieira leaves, or a Zinchenko leaves, or a Ramsdale leaves, this is the thing. Arsenal could quite easily sell 100 to 120 million pounds worth of players, as well as drop 200 million. We could quite easily see a 250, 260 million pound window from Arsenal. And if you throw in a Zubimendi, an Isak, and a Rashford, and all of a sudden you're like, well, hang on, forget the Premier League. Arsenal could challenge for the Champions League next season. Arteta is building something. They're going in the right direction. And I have no dog in this fight, no horse in this race. I don't care about Arsenal. I don't care about Man United. I don't care about Liverpool. I just like talking football. But right now, I'm afraid to say Arsenal are building something similar to what Liverpool had under Klopp. You got the Kai Havertz who can play the Firmino role, and you got the Saka, Salah, and the Martinelli of Mane. All of a sudden, you got the Van Dijk to the Saliba, the Joe Gomez, or the Matip to the Gabriel, the Raya to the Alisson, the Trent to the Ben White. It's just that left back and that Fabinho role. You got the 8 role, you got the Wijnaldum, you got the Declan Rice, you got the number 10, you got Odegaard. It's just that number 6 and the left back, and they are there, and another number 9. They're missing the Robertson, they're missing the Fabinho, and they're missing the number 9. Then Arsenal will be where Liverpool were. Now, other bit of news is De Zerbi is now being linked heavily with a Manchester United job. First of all, Erik ten Hag, as how much disrespect and hate he's got the last couple of years after winning a domestic FA Cup and a League Cup the last 2 seasons. Yes, he led Manchester United to their worst ever finish in Premier League history. But he's now won 2 trophies. He's got them back into Europe. They've had a better season than Spurs, better season than Chelsea, a better season than Newcastle. And they've won an FA Cup. They've won more trophies and better trophies this season than Liverpool and Arsenal. And Villa. Now, with a new regime, with better players, could Ten Hag achieve more? I'm not so sure. I look at some of the tactics, some of the games he's managed this season where Man United look atrocious, drawing at home to Burnley. coming from behind from Sheffield United, throwing a 3-goal lead away to Coventry. Yes, he got over the line and won the FA Cup, but it's still relevant to talk about the performances. Now, De Zerbi is a guy that is potentially, according to Fabrizio Romano, going to have a cut price. He's going to have a cut price. Is De Zerbi the right guy to take Manchester United forward? Well, Man United have completely changed their hierarchy. You know, Sir Jim's coming in, Dan Ashworth's coming in, a new director of football's coming. And Man United, for the first time since Alex Ferguson, have got footballing people making footballing decisions. This is what Man United fans have been crawling out for years to see. Ed Woodward is no longer going to be there. Excuse me. He's no longer going to be there. Now, Man United, interesting one, because that is such a big job to go into. Man United next season, obviously, they're looking at attacking managers. They're looking at possession-based managers. With that team, they did have a good finish to the season. They beat Newcastle. They beat Brighton. You know, they put in a relatively good performance against Arsenal, and they won the FA Cup. Right? Now I look at it and think, if De Zerbi is the candidate that the Man United want, his role at Brighton was he wanted to be the manager, not the coach, in terms of don't sell the best players, try to build something. At Man United, what the vibe I'm kind of getting is they want someone to just coach the team as well as being involved in transfers. And that's where I don't necessarily think Ten Hag is at his best. Ten Hag would work at someone like Bayern Munich or Manchester City to a degree, because those roles have got an elite setup. Man City have got the best scouts in the world with Tixi Birkenstein, an elite director of football, and a chairman who all sing from the same hymn sheet. So the role at a club like Manchester City is just to coach the team. If De Zerbi is going in to just coach the team and you've got footballing people making footballing decisions, then he will succeed. But if it's to be part of the recruitment as well, you know, management isn't like what it used to be in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, where the Wengers and the Fergusons and the Mourinhos were actually managing the football club, not the first team. Now, De Zerbi, I've got mixed feelings about. Last season, when he got into the Europa League, he had a fully fit squad. He was absolutely flying. He was performing. You know, Brighton had a very, very good season. You know, the first time ever in a European competition, the Europa League, to my knowledge, I could be wrong, to my knowledge, they scored 72 goals, conceded 53, had 62 points. Had a better season than Villa, better season than Spurs. You know, last season, or the season just gone, they finished 11th. Nowhere near the volume of goals scored, conceded a lot more, had worse seasons than their rivals Palace, West Ham, Man United, Newcastle, and Chelsea. Now, yes, obviously injuries play a part, but Man United, there's a lot to do there. You got a big rebuild to be part of. You got to play the right style of football, attacking football. Man United this season have had to watch a lot of dross, more shots on their goal than the record. Derby County went down with the lowest points. You know, you're going to be managing Europe this season as well. And we've seen at Brighton that when he has managed Europe, it hasn't gone to plan. Of course, they've had a lot of injuries. You got big egos in that dressing room, like a Rashford we were just speaking about, like a Bruno Fernandes. You know, and Ten Hag, if he does go, will be going out on a high, knowing that he's just won the FA Cup. Is De Zerbi the right guy? How many other managers are available? Inzaghi's not going to leave Inter. Nagelsmann's not going to leave Germany. Zidane doesn't want to manage in England. There isn't too many managers available. Arne Slot's just gone to Liverpool. McKenna potentially staying at Ipswich. There isn't too many available. De Zerbi might be the right guy. Or he might be the best candidate available. You know? Let me know your thoughts down below. Will Rashford succeed at Arsenal? Will Man United sell Rashford to Arsenal? Will De Zerbi succeed at Man United? Let me know your thoughts. I'd be very, very intrigued to see. Big up for the support on this channel. We're absolutely flying at the moment. We are less than 20 subscribers away from 7,100, which genuinely is absolutely insane on this channel. It's a big up to every single one of you. I'm going to try and bring 2 uploads a day throughout the whole of June and July and cover the Euros. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you soon. Thank you